Over 1 million Filipinos have been affected by severe weather caused by the combined effect of the low-pressure area and shear line since the 14th of November, which has caused floods and triggered landslides. These meteorological phenomena are consequences of the northeastern monsoon, known as Amihan, that occurs every year. As of the 29th of November, 5 people have died in northern Samar province. A total of 76,312 people are still displaced in 167 evacuation centers, and 1,155,465 people have been affected, most of them in eastern Visayas, western Visayas, and Bicol regions. Moreover, 272 houses have been damaged, 161 roads and 10 bridges have been affected. But what is shear line? In meteorology, a shear line is a line or narrow zone across which there is an abrupt change in the horizontal wind parallel to this line, a line of maximum horizontal wind shear. Wind shear describes how the wind changes speed and/or direction with height. For example, when a powerful jet stream shifts overhead, wind speeds from the surface to jet stream level can increase by over 100 miles per hour. Wind shear is important to severe thunderstorm forecasting, because if it becomes strong enough, it can tilt a storm's updraft in such a manner that the updraft and downdraft remain separate from one another. If this occurs, the storm's energy source, its warm moist updraft, will not get choked off by the downdraft, and thus the storm will be able to maintain itself for a prolonged period of time. For these reasons, strong wind shear is a chief indicator of long-lived and potentially severe thunderstorms. How then, is wind shear occurring as a result of Amihan? In the Philippines, Amihan refers to the season dominated by the trade winds, which are experienced in the Philippines as a cool northeast wind. It is characterized by moderate temperatures, little or no rainfall in the central and western part of Luzon and Visayas, and a prevailing wind from the east. On the east coast of Luzon it brings drizzling rainfall and squalls. The effect on Mindanao is relatively less than in the northern part of the country. As a rule of thumb, the Philippines' Amihan weather pattern begins sometime in November or December and ends sometime in May or June. There may, however, be wide variations from year to year. Throughout the rest of the year, the Philippines experiences the west or southwest wind, southwest monsoon, which in turn is referred to as the Habagat. The Habagat season is characterized by hot and humid weather, frequent heavy rainfall, and a prevailing wind from the western parts. The main indicator of the switch between the Amihan and Habagat seasonal patterns is the switch in wind direction. In most years this transition is abrupt and occurs overnight. Amihan and Habagat are also known as characters in Filipino legends. Habagat is known as the southwest wind, god of wind, and god of rain who rules the kingdom of silver and gold, called him Papawiran or sky, while Amihan is the personification of northeast wind. In this mythical story, Habagat saw the beautiful Amihan and fell in love with her. To win her heart, he entered a contest of speed and force against other gods of winds. After defeating them all, even his fiercest rival, Buhawid, god of typhoons, he brought his beloved with him to Papawiran, where they rule the kingdom together. Amihan is very much an actively used term, and most local news reports reference it when describing the weather systems disrupting millions of lives. This convergence of myth and meteorology is by no means a coincidence, and raises poignant questions about humanity's relationship with its surroundings. Today, modern science often eclipses folklore, but the fact that severe weather caused by a seasonal monsoon has an ancient name, with a story all to itself, tells us much about how our ways of dealing with disaster have stayed mostly the same for hundreds if not thousands of years. Perhaps this is a lesson for disaster management. Being truly effective at helping people survive in catastrophe may first require a more honest understanding of how they perceive them. The storms that the Philippines is withstanding will pass, but the lessons learned do not have to. You have been watching Disaster Relay. Like and subscribe for more disaster content.